Whew, it's Monday, it's leg day, and the sun's out. It's about 95 degrees. Well, maybe 90 degrees. Anyway, it's hot. I've got my camera set up in a little bit of shade, so I'm hoping that prevents technical issues. But here we are, it's leg day. We're doing 285 for 5 sets of 5, and then we're gonna move into RDLs for 3 sets of 10. Whew. Rows, good mornings, and knee raises, and those are gonna be 3 sets to 8 to 12. So we're in the first week of base wave 2. So for the next 3 weeks, we're gonna be doing more, traditional 5x5, and then kind of more of a bodybuilding rep range with those 8 to 10 instead of the real high volume that we were doing during base wave 1. Whew. Of course, set 5 today is going to be as many reps as possible, and then for every rep over 5 that we do with it, it's going to add 1% to the total. So that's going to drive the weight that we actually squat on Wednesday, or on Monday next week. Sorry, I can't get my day straight. Whew. I'm gonna try to buzz through this one real quick though, because like I said, it's like 90, 92 degrees out. So it's hot already, and I have to get back to work as well. So no time for fluff. Luckily, it's only 285 on the bar, so we should be able to keep our rest periods pretty short. As far as like assistance works, RPE we're shooting for this week is a 6, which is like the first set you come out of a warm-up with or something. So should feel pretty good when it's all said and done here. This is kind of a built-in reset. We pushed for the first 3 weeks, and now we're taking a step back so that we can push, so that by 2 weeks from now we'll actually be ahead of where we were last week. Wave periodization. You take 3 steps forward, take 2 steps back, take 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and then every iteration it ends up being about a step forward. And that's how you make steady long-term progress. Just a slow march towards perfection or breakdown. Ugh. Ugh. Five. They got bulldozers and heavy machinery knocking down the wooded area behind my house. So I've got mixed feelings about that. The old man in me like the trees and is shaking my fists at the change in my neighborhood. But the autistic child in me likes seeing all the big toys driving back and forth. So it's a real struggle. Two. 9. 4, 5. All right, that's 3 of 5. Whew. The nice thing about my entire setup being, black plastic, metal, and rubber is everything's just hot all the time when I touch it. It's great. right, come on. All right. Whew, pretty sure that's set 4. So we got an AMRAP after this. Then we'll go on to RDLs. I'm thinking for AMRAP, I'm gonna shoot for about 12 reps. We'll see. These are moving pretty well. So if I give myself a little bit of extra time to breathe, I might be able to get out a significant quantity of these. I think last time I did 285, like 2 weeks ago, I cranked out 15 reps. So who knows? Maybe I'll do more. Not trying to kill myself in this heat though. Ooh. I know I've got a lot of half-formed and incomplete thoughts on here. Oh, and you're about to get another one. Another little thing I've been thinking about, you know, as you go on the internet, they say, Jesus needs you to blank. Or God wants you to blank so that he can blank. And it puts a lot of onus of God's plan on human activity. And I've been kind of thinking, like, God is complete. He's all powerful. He doesn't need anything. He's sovereign, and anything that he can do or wants to do, he can do. So then where does, you know, the importance of my activity come out? Or, you know, they say he's got a plan for you in his overall project. You've got a role to play. So it's not like the plan falls apart if I fail to act. That puts too much emphasis on me. But what I do think when they say God has a job for you to do, it's kind of like when you're a kid and your dad's like changing the brake pads on the car or something, right? So he gives you a job and you hold the flashlight. And, you know, whatever job your dad gives you when you're a kid, ultimately your assistance is going to make things longer and harder and more frustrating than it would be if he just did it himself, right? But your dad involves you because he wants to spend that time with you, 1, and then 2, it helps build you as an individual. Doing the job is good for you because you learn something. It's an investment. And I kind of think that, you know, when they talk about God having a plan for us and us having a part in the overall picture, it's not because God needs us to do that part, but it's for our own good that we do that part. Does that make sense? That we ultimately slow everything down by our involvement, but through it, we are made better and more Christ-like in our daily activities. You know, the whole, it's not I, but Christ through me. Anyway, there's something there. There's a thread of a good idea, and I'm sure that I am not original at all, and it's already been better articulated elsewhere. But it is just one of my ponderings, and I've got 30 more seconds on this rest set, so I'll ponder out loud while I wait for it so that it's not just me breathing into the microphone. As much as some of you freaks like that. All right, let's put this to bed. All right, so that's 5. Anything after this is just bonus. 6, 7, 8. 11. All right. Whew. That should suffice. All right, we're gonna breathe for a second. Then we're gonna start our RDLs. Gonna use straps, because as I say every week on these, training grip strength is not my goal on this one. I want to target hams and glutes. I want grip strength to be a non-factor. That said, whew, relative grip strength is a good thing to track, just for your own awareness. The force that you can grip something is often tied to how recovered you are neurologically. So if you find that your grip strength just isn't there, you might want to consider letting off the gas. It's usually a good indicator that you're not recovering adequately. So if you can't hold on to the thing, probably shouldn't push through. All right, we're gonna do this for 3 sets of 10. So, whew, significantly less volume than last week, which is why we're adding more weight. I'm gonna open it 225 and see how that feels. Next week will be 4 sets of 10, so we'll stick with 225 if we can for that, but we reserve the right to lower the weight if needed. It's an RPE thing, not an absolute load. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Whew. All right, these are feeling pretty good. Getting a slight pump, but we're not suffering. So rest assured, there will be time for suffering next week. Ooh. But this is an intentional step back from it. And I guess going back to my thought earlier, and what really drove me down that line of thinking and kind of frustrated me with the whole concept is a lot of the people who say, God needs you to X, Y, Z, like there's some arbiters of the will of the Lord. Usually they're trying to manipulate you, especially if they say that you need to do something, and in your heart, it doesn't feel right, it feels wrong. Oh, and you know it's wrong. But they try to justify it with God. Like, it's usually an overt attempt at manipulation. And you got to remember that, whew, even Satan quoted scripture when he tried to tempt Christ in the desert. So don't be surprised when people try it on you for nefarious purposes. And I know this is not lifting or fitness adjacent. There's just a lot of propagandists and false narratives going around, in my estimation. And one group of people who I have a hard time forgiving and holding blameless are propagandists. But I'm praying on it. Because ultimately, whether or not I forgive those folks, it doesn't have one bearing, one iota of impact on them, because we've never met, right? But the forgiveness helps purify my soul. It's one less thing that I need to carry throughout my day. All right, we got 185 on the bar, and we're just doing 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. There might be a little English on these, but that's okay, I speak English. Whew, we'll settle at 10. And I'm actually going to take off the straps on these, because I'm accelerating the bar with enough force that it's actually lifting up out of the hook from the momentum. So I'm actually more likely to lose it. Whew. And then we're gonna have to make an effort to be real quick for good mornings and knee raises, because I got about 10 minutes before I got to start getting back to work. I guess on that note, we'll shorten the rest period on here and we'll just lift a little out of breath. It'll be fine. I'll build up that cardio. Ah! 10. Ah. Hot. I like to try to wait till about halfway through my lifting session to start ranting. That way I'm not scaring anyone off right off the bat. Whew. But if you're invested enough to hang out with me past, the first 2 or 3 sets, I guess I can get a little fucking woo-woo or esoteric or whatever. I don't even know if esoteric's the right word for that, because that would imply niche, specialized knowledge, of which I don't have much. So a little more humility would probably step away from words like esoteric. All right. It's about time in the training session where I cry about not wanting to be here anymore. Almost done. Pick up our toys a little bit. All right, we're running out of time, so I'm just gonna do 8s on these. 8. Set 1 of 3. All right, quit dawdling. Let's go. Like one of the ones I keep seeing. Like people like to say things like, don't make peace with evil, destroy it. Or they quote Psalm 3, where they say, strike them on the jaw, crush the teeth of the wicked. But I feel like the part that they always like to yada 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 over is who is the one who smashes the teeth of the wicked. It's the Lord. Deuteronomy says it, the New Testament says it. Vengeance belongs to the Lord. The evil that you are responsible for destroying is the evil that lives in your own heart. That's the only one that you have any impact over. And by eliminating the evil out of your heart, you serve as an example to others. That light. And as people see you and the fruits of good faith that produces, they want to be more like you. And that's how you spread it. You don't force it. You work on loving your neighbor. Anyhow, I'll get off my soapbox. I got 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. That's it for Monday. Catch me tomorrow for bench.